Mike.
You okay? Right now.
Okay. Great. So, thank you guys for putting up with me tonight. I made the mistake of volunteering to Richie that if she needed me to come by and give an update on where we are at Novozymes and what's going on with the expansion, etc., I would be happy to do that if she could catch me. And I told the wrong person. No, I'm really honored to give you guys a very, very quick update, and I think that it's very relevant for the decision that you have under consideration. Last week, our CEO and his management team were here for 2 days, and myself and our local management team lost a lot of sleep, but nonetheless, they caught up on where we are. And I thought I would give you just a glimpse of some of the things I told them because I think it's very, very relevant to what we're talking about tonight. So I know some of you have seen this, but we started in '77 with a $15 million investment in 45 people. And when we got to 2000, here we are in North America with 3 locations and about 390 people. And if you notice in Franklinton, that's where most of them were, 346 or so. And that's when we launched Novozymes as a separate company from Novo Nordisk. And we had sales, and this is in kroner, so forgive me on there. You can divide that by roughly 5, and that's what you got in millions, of about 1.4 billion kroner for the year. Now take us to 2008, and you can start to see us expanding, including that green one there in Saskatoon, Canada, which is this agricultural business that we moved into, which is relevant to the announcement we made just a week or so ago. Which takes us to 2008 here in Franklinton. And you can see everything that's happened here, and we had about 450 people at the site. And that leads us to today, and I've apparently waited more than 3 weeks because these numbers are old. And it says 536, and we're already up to 545, and a few folks in the room like Cliff over there know we're hunting offices to try to figure out where to put all the people that are coming. So despite the fact that we weren't willing to commit to specific numbers as it relates to people, I promise you our growth story continues. Which leads us to the sales we have today, which is almost 4 times that amount. In fact, the amount of money that we brought in the first quarter of this year is almost our annual sales in the year 2000. If that gives you an idea how much growth we've had. And you can see all the locations that we've added around the country. But all the while, we've been growing Franklinton as our North American headquarters. And that story is going to continue, I promise you. Since 2000, to give you an indication how important this location is, since 2000, over a third of Novozymes' total growth has come from the U.S. And that's why this North American headquarters here in this county is so important, because we drive the business from this location. And before I get to that, so the announcement we made, 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago? I can't remember, I'm losing track. 2 weeks ago was about, and I can't point here, but all the green spots on that map, these are acquisitions we made for BioAg. And as you could imagine, and not only are those green spots, so Saskatoon, Watertown, South Dakota, Milwaukee, where we've got 40 or so people, Houston, Texas, and actually Salem, Virginia, are key locations where we do research and do production of the microorganisms that we sell into the ag space. Now, that's a bit of a messy picture. And we don't want to have our R&D on all of that spread all over the place. So at some point it started to make sense that we should consolidate that. Not only that, but we signed a very large alliance deal with Monsanto, which requires us, they paid us, I don't know if you guys understand what happened there, but these products and this technology was so good that Monsanto was willing to come to us and say, we will pay you $300 million on the front end just to have the exclusive right to sell your products. Now, why would they do that? And it's obviously because they think that's going to be a much bigger business than it is today. And we do too. But to get there, we're going to have to do a lot more research and a lot more production. Well, the research side, we announced how we're going to deal with that. We're going to establish this facility over in Research Triangle Park where it just so happens a lot of our competitors are sitting around. And I can tell you we've already put out some of the job bids and we're getting a lot of job resumes, which that's proven to be a good move. However, we're still going to have to produce all that stuff when that business comes. And that has not been decided. But I can tell you, you sit in the absolute prime location for where we're probably going to make those kinds of decisions. And the investment that we're talking about over the next 2 years, that's a lot about getting our plant into shape so that we can produce a much broader range of products. I talked a little bit about this, I think, 2 years ago, down in Franklinton, I believe. And here we are today getting ready to spend, and I'll be honest, that's a conservative number we're giving you because we don't like to make promises we can't keep. It's much more likely that we're going to spend a lot more than $30 million, but that's the number that we wanted to make sure absolutely we could commit to. So that $31 million is about expanding our capabilities so we can produce a lot more products in this facility, but it is not what it's going to take to handle the growth that we're talking about coming in this company, which is my last slide, I believe. So we just announced our first quarter results, and I know that's hard to see, but but what you can see in the top graph is the sales from 2012 first quarter, 2013 first quarter, and 2014 first quarter. So not only has this been a pretty good growth story, it's getting faster. And our ambition is to grow at 10% every year as a company. And when you add 10% on to 10% on to 10%, that 1% growth in 2000 is a much smaller thing than the 1% growth in 2015 and 2016. So the scale on this stuff is getting bigger and bigger.
A little late, but
That's okay.
there you go.
So the other thing I want to point out is that is a 10% organic growth, meaning not from acquisitions, meaning just naturally growing through good sales. And that's something we expect to continue. In fact, our expectations that we announced in January, we've had to up those expectations again in April. So all of that's a great story. And one other thing I want to point out is we had somewhere down here record profit, and we have cash to invest. But we also decided what we were going to do for the second time in our company's history is take that extra cash and buy back 2 billion shares of our stock, which is of course good for the stock price. But the reason we did it is so that we can hand out those shares to every single employee we have in this company at every single level. So we're not only making an investment in our facilities, but we're making an investment in our people. And despite not being able to say, yeah, you know, $30 million in investment is going to be this many people, the people are coming. And it's just because our business is so diverse as to why that's very difficult to give you a very specific answer. Now, when we get to major expansions, if we have to get there on the agricultural products, that'll come with numbers, no doubt about it. So, I think that's the warp speed catch up on what's going on with Novozymes.